Welcome to this presentation about the revenue recharge framework and programs, our proprietary systems that move the companies from stagnation into accelerated growth. Very often companies are driven by the founder's spirit, connections, business understanding, and they are able to generate fantastic organic growth. Sometimes this is a phase which can last years. Sometimes this is just months. But what is characteristic for any company is that at some point they come to this inflection point. They reach kind of plateau and they are getting into stagnation. Sometimes they are just getting down with the revenue, with the progress made. Sometimes they are able to get them back into the growth mode, but very often they stay in this dead zone, in this red zone. The Revenue Recharger program is designed for those companies and to give them the opportunity to pivot from this stagnation and vicious spirals they have into the accelerated organic growth, which is going to last. So why us and why now? This is not about having a program, a training your people and maybe being curious about something. This is really about driving results for business improvements within 180 days. So this is really an acceleration. This is really a recharging of your entire sales frameworks, understanding what needs to be done to get you not only in a short-term growth, but to the lasting growth. Oftentimes, and you might be one of those, our clients say, I am stuck, my business is stuck with our revenue roller coaster, which means that nothing is predictable. We don't have any forecast, sometimes it's fantastic, the other months it's lousy, we are not able to grow. This creates the entire set of frustrations and also the challenges for the business. Like, if you don't have growth, how are you able to invest in your company, to add new systems, maybe tools when it comes to manufacturing, or maybe upgrade your products? How are you able to get to the new markets if you don't have any growth, which is resulting in very poor cash flow? So growth is absolutely needed, and lack of growth creates tons of different complexities and difficulties. Those companies that are able to grow, they are able to manage the rest of the problems. Those companies who don't have the growth, they are going to have this continuous challenge about optimizing their resources and costs, which means, in other words, cut costs, fire people, scale down. Very often, that boils down to some of those statements. We cannot find reliable salespeople. That's a big thing for many companies. There are two things. Salespeople are not really productive, and salespeople are not reliable. They don't have the right quality. That creates this frustration, and very often the companies say, you know what, we understand that growth is important, but since we are not able to hire those salespeople, we just put it into a parking lot. We focus on something else. Another statement that we hear very often is that deals stall. We are able to generate new opportunities, new leads. We give them to the sales work on that, but they stall. We are not able to close. We are not able to win new business. Something is not right. And last but not least, it is impossible. We have tried almost everything. We have invested heavily in trainings, but we were not able to move the needle. So something like a despair and kind of statement that our company is different and our company cannot be great. And I can tell you that working with us, working with Recharge Consulting, you are going to have those. You will have and manage productive and engaged salespeople. That is a key. If we don't have that, the rest is absolutely unrealistic for us to do. But what is realistic? Yes, you will have healthy pipeline and you are going to have predictable wins. So this is about continuous work with your sales pipeline, adding quality deals, working through them and closing them as expected, and also having predictability in that. So this is not only about closing, this is also about knowing what is going to tell us that we are going to close and win or maybe fail. And last but not least, when working with us, this is not only about our consulting services and you are going to see fantastic results when we are with you. Our job is to make sure that you are going to be left and be able to operate something what we call a proven sales operating system. So those changes that we are able to, together with you, start and recharge your organic growth, you are going to maintain and continue with this. But this is not just empty statements. Everybody can do that. I can show you very quickly how we approach those. So when it comes to people, this is your most important asset if this is done right, or maybe this is the most heavy liability you have. We are going to really understand what people do we have, what opportunity gaps we have, and we are going to set specific expectations on them. Very often it happens that this lack of engagement, passiveness, reactiveness of those salespeople, and then low productivity starts with this, that we are not able to set healthy expectations on them. And then we are able to address all these gaps identified with those individuals. So this is not about just same process with every company. We are going to look at your specific people, and we are going to identify opportunities with your specific people, and we are able to address those. Second to that, we are going to set a performance quota. This is not only about the sales quota. Hey, John, I expect from you to bring $1 million. This is wishful thinking statement. We are going to look at performance quota on those activities that they are going to drive specific behaviors, specific actions, and that this sales quota is going to be attainable. Every company has its own specifics, and we are able to include that specifics of yours into this performance quota setting. And then it's going to be more complicated or less complicated, but still, we need to build pieces of the infrastructure, including sales compensation plans, which are going to make salespeople difficult to disobey our agreements and disobey the directions we are going to set and continue with what they had been doing in the past. So we are going to build the guide rails, which is going to make it difficult for them to ignore the directions we would like to take and commitment from them. And last but not least, this is about actions and not only about planning. Very quickly, we are able to get into activity settings and understanding how to really help them on a weekly basis. That is going to be our tool, 30, 60, 90-day plans. They are going to be very individual. So this is not, if you have 5 salespeople, each of them is going to get exactly this one. That is going to derive from these gaps identified with those specific people. And this is going to be reflected in those specific 30, 60, 90-day plans. Then it is going to be supported by very specific, very goal-oriented one-on-one meetings. So this is not going to be just coaching sessions, training sessions. It is going to be a really specific agenda, which is going to hold them accountable and drive for performance. And the last but not least, we believe in the peer accountability and peer momentum. So we have very specific agenda also for the team meetings, where we are going to set also quarterly goals for every sales individual, and we are going to use numbers in having those team meetings showing who really does the thing we wanted them to do and who is just talking, is just a lip service on that. So you could see that this is not just about the statement that you are going to have productive salespeople. We have tools. What are the gaps, opportunity or problems? How to set the performance quota? How to really align the sales infrastructure, which is going to make salespeople to stick what we are going to tell them, and how on a weekly basis to drive specific behaviors we wanted them to have. So that is a couple of examples. When it comes to pipeline and closing deals, we start with this. We are going to look into the true pipeline, and we will identify those deals that most likely already have been lost, that they are not active. Most likely, salespeople, like they do in every company, they just believe that they should stay. Very often, salespeople keep those deals because they feel bad if they are going to show the true picture of the pipeline. Our job is to, together with them, to go through the entire pipeline and really identify those which are still active, those opportunities that are still active, and those opportunities that have been lost or maybe should be put on the parking lot and addressed a quarter later. So we are going to have the right visibility into the true pipeline. When we have that, We are going to implement our proprietary, very hands-on, very practical, very intuitive system, which tells JTBD, jobs to be done. At every stage of the process, salespeople will understand what kind of job is expected from them to do. For instance, if they are going to meet the operator of your software or maybe product, but this person is not decision maker, their job is to excite that person and empower with the right message to bring that information to the true decision makers and getting them excited to join another meeting. You need to have the true decision maker into the next meeting. Right? So this is just an example, but there is going to be specific jobs identified to be performed at a specific stage to drive really productivity. And we have also the tools, very simple tools, which is going to tell us if our salespeople did what we wanted them to do, this job, and then what was the quality of that work. By doing this, within 2-3 weeks, you are able to have immediate improvements in everything what happens in your pipeline and in your sales process. And last but not least, that is going to be reinforced by weekly and rep-driven deal reviews. So this is not going to be you. This is not going to be you getting into those weeds and analyzing all of those details. I want every sales rep to own their sales territory, to own their business, and speak prepared well during these weekly deal reviews about what is going to be closed, why do they believe it is going to be closed, what clients did say to us that this is going to be likely, is there any mutual action plans with the clients. By doing this and knowing what kind of questions to ask, we are able to really identify those gaps. Is it just a lip service, or we really do? We try to do these jobs to be done, activities at specific stages. That is critically important that we are able to address this, and that is going to give you also within something like 90 days probability that your sales forecasting is going to be on 80% of the likelihood of the desired quality. And when it comes to this sales operating system, sales is about 6 to 7 different growth areas, depending on the industry. We are going to identify your blockers in those specific directions, in those specific agendas, and we are able to identify only on those which are critically important for your business and very urgent right now. So this is not about plethora of different activities, consulting activities, but we are going to really focus on what is specifically important for your particular business. And those gaps, those problems are going to be specifically addressed. As I said, we are able to drive very specific, fact-driven, realistic sales forecasts. And this is so important for building a repetitive system, because you will be given the leading indicators, which is going to tell you 2 months, 3 months in advance, depending on your industry, if the right activities is taking place, if the magnitude of those activities is on the right level, and if you are going to hit or not your goals. There is not going to be any surprises. I will show you how you are able to operate your business in advance, how you are able to course correct before the problem occurs. And last but not least, in order to make it stay, you are going to be given revenue quarterly business reviews. There is going to be a specific cadence. There is going to be specific ways of escalating the problems. So the system is going to be self-operating, and it is going to help you to maintain on this growth path. So when we leave, we are going to leave you with this system that you are able to operate to continue with the healthy growth. But this is not just about doing stuff, right? This is about having some goals and objectives here. So our goal is that minimum 80% of your people, of your salespeople, will exceed their sales quota. Look at that. There is going to be your new sales quota, and 80% of your teams are going to be attaining those goals. So there is going to be really high level of productivity. Then when it comes to working with the pipelines, I can guarantee you that when everything is going to be done like this, within 90 days, you are going to see and experience that your hit rate is going to be over 30%, which is going to be very healthy when it comes to new business development. And last but not least, you are going to have the system which will enable you to have the 3 times higher growth what you have right now, growth rates, quarter to quarter. As a result of this, you are going to have highly productive sales teams, not only individuals, but sales teams. You are going to have healthy pipeline and predictable wins. And last but not least, don't forget about that. You will operate proven, repeatable sales operating system. So these changes are going to stay. This is accountability for performance. This is what we do oftentimes, and this is the key component before we are able to do anything about the sales operating system or sales process. But when it comes to sales process, we have our proprietary framework. We call it Stagecraft. This is going to be implemented together with playbooks, and people will know what is expected from them and how to really operate the sales process. And last but not least, you are going to have the sales operating system for growing new business. We call it Expand, and retaining the existing clients and growing your relationship and growing your sales with the existing clients. All of that is the entire program that we call Revenue Recharger. It gives you new energy. It takes you from your business from stagnations into continuous organic growth. I hope that you are able to really enjoy this program. I can guarantee you that your salespeople are going to find it not like a problem, but really intuitive, easy to operate, and really helpful. This is how it works with them, and you are going to see how big relief on your entire company it makes. I invite everybody to join us, to contact us, and we have also a bunch of free resources like free quarterly assessment for performance tool, really to identify those specific gaps or the opportunity or problem gaps with the people, and how to really give them feedback so they will understand that this is not about just criticizing, but driving the understanding that there is opportunities for them. There is a win for them as well. Second, we offer you free of charge a quick sales pipeline health check. We are able to look into this and to see how much of the dead weight you have right now in your process, in your pipeline, and what you need to do to improve that. And last but not least, we are going to give you the revenue growth acceleration readiness assessment, which is go through these 6 or 7 different agendas, which are critically important for your sales growth, to really identify which of those is the critically important for you right now, and what is the activities you should undertake today in order to strengthen your market positioning. I invite everybody to contact us. This is the possibility to book a meeting with the company, and we would like to work with you. We would like to show you how you are able to attain your goals and get you from the stagnation within 90 to 180 days. That works. That works with any B2B company. That's already proven. Thank you.